So hello everyone, and guess I'm here again, and apologies for people who are who are subscribed to my videos or to my channel that I wasn't able to post a weekend twofer for last weekend. I did have a work thing which caused me not to post a video. But I'm posting this midweek because this is something. I guess it might be a thing now that if there's a topic other than K-pop or P-pop and action figures, maybe if it's like for other matters, I might be posting it within the week. But I would just like what the topic that I'd like to talk about is the divorce bill. Now, it's a pretty hot topic lately since the House was able to pass their version of the divorce bill, and a lot of people are talking about it right now. Now, one thing that I was watching toward within the week was that some people would comment on the politicians' view of the divorce bill. And as you know, as previously mentioned in my previous videos, is that I do watch Attorney Libayan, and his take on the divorce bill was a commentary on what Congressman Richard Gomez, stated about the divorce bill, talking about it, he talked about the sanctity of marriage. Now, he gave he basically gave commentary on that, especially since the Constitution isn't actually for, because Congressman Gomez was talking about the Constitution, that it's not just for that it's actually to give it's not to give benefit for most, but it doesn't have to have religion in it, because what's the sanctity about, it's, if it's you're talking about sanctity of marriage, and that's basically you're trying to insert religion in it. The Our current constitution already had a lot of religious influence in it, since when the Cory administration drafted it, it had a lot of input from the Catholic Church. Not saying that the Catholic Church is bad, but there was a lot of input from the Catholic Church. And basically putting it in, talking about the sanctity of marriage, is basically putting a religious spice in it, which should not be the case, because not everybody is Catholic, but at the same time, there should be separation of church and state, and also it should not adhere to it should not cater to a specific religion. We're a secular state. Unfortunately, from what I was watching with Attorney Libayan, that I found it a bit lacking, in a sense that he was just commenting on what Congressman Gomez was saying. Hence, I checked out Fiscal EJ's live. Actually, I was there during the live stream, and yes, everybody watching my videos, I subscribe to Fiscal EJ as well. I It's not healthy to be just into one group. I mean, I would say that I actually lean towards Attorney Libayan, Caillou, and everybody, but it doesn't help to just stay in an echo chamber, right? And in all honesty, if I need to learn something in a more school type manner, I actually go to Fiscal EJ. Why? Because the way he would do it is, the way he would talk about it is as like it is a lecture. While Attorney Libayan would do it on a real life basis, on real situations, right? On real situations and on real life and real world, current world situations. While Fiscal EJ would discuss it as a lesson, as a lecture, which you can also, it depends on you on how you take it. But personally, if I need to learn something, I sometimes need to take it as a lecture. And that's what I did. It was funny because I was watching Attorney Liman. Okay, it's fine, but and then I saw that Fiscal EG was live, and I went into the live. I actually typed in some questions, which I guess it's either one of the mods. One of the mods is, and I guess it's either they don't want me there or they just passed by. But nevertheless, I was asking questions as well. Now, I honestly I learned a lot from Fiscal EJ's live stream, and it's not usually the case that I get to watch Fiscal EJ's live stream, and I guess I guess especially it was a special occasion since there was the rest of the so-called what they call the Ampalaya gang was there. Nico David, Comics Man, and the other guy, and also Percy Lapida was there again, also was there as well, and it was a healthy discussion. It was a really healthy discussion. Now there are some things that maybe others might not agree to, like bawal muna and then exceptions and then, but with regards to the divorce bill, it was something very very educational for me, and which actually helped me get to understand it better. Hopefully they can release it so that we can also read it. But nevertheless, just like what is Fiscal EJ said, it's just still in the house. It will have to go through. It's still gonna take a long. It's gonna take a long. It might take some time since it's gonna go to the Senate and then before going to the president, and then they'll have to meet also. So the things with the divorce bill, the things with divorce, by the way, before we start, is that in the Philippines, it's the Philippines and the Vatican that are the only two countries which do not have divorce. The Vatican is a state within Italy, but Italy itself has divorce. Now, the lower house had their 29, the last time was they had their 2019 version. The Senate had 2018 version, which was passed by, if I'm not mistaken, Risa. I think it's Risa Ontiveros who submitted the divorce bill for the Senate. Now, I took down some notes while Fiscal EJ was talking about it. Now in the Philippines, there's actually there is an annulment and legal separation. We do have that. Now, annulment is basically making the marriage null and void or voiding the marriage, but a legal separation is just a separation from bed and board. To quote Fiscal EJ, separation from bed and board. So, technically speaking, we do not have divorce here, but we do have remedies in the form of annulment and legal separation. Now, what Fiscal EJ was also talking about was that it was called the Act Reinstating Divorce. Okay, it's not a new thing. It's not a divorce bill. It's the Act Reinstating Divorce. Now, the thing there is that apparently before Spanish times and even during that time, there is divorce. We had the form of divorce. So it is also something that is not new, at least in the history of the Philippines. Though I guess a little more recently, on times that the divorce is not allowed, but apparently there was divorce. There was a form of divorce here in the country before. Now, another thing is that with regards to the current the divorce bill being posted, some of the grounds of legal separation was already incorporated in the divorce bill. Right? So that means that it's already it's a little bit more I guess it's a little bit more reinforced. The current divorce bill they're pushing for the House divorce bill is already incorporate a lot of grounds from annulment and from legal separation into the divorce bill. Okay, and also with regards to this the thing here that Fiscal was talking about with regards to marriage, of a marriage between ages of 18 to 21, wherein they need the parental consent to marry. And should there be none, it could be the marriage could be deemed void, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, my notes itself are not, I guess with the way I write, I have very bad handwriting, but nevertheless, it's pretty much, it has something to do with it. I'm sorry, if anybody wants to correct me, please do, please do. And also, there is also with, and aside from that, during the live of Fiscal EJ, there were a lot of very very nice views and also nice arguments. I've said before in my previous video, it was, I think it's a video that as a commentary to for my favorite vloggers, and one of them is, well, in that video I discussed my favorite vloggers as well. There's Caillou, there's Teacher Mark, and then there's I am Sean Wayne, and some of the ones that one of the ones that I always watch special, it was actually Nico David. I watch his Franklin Miano series, and also his previous ones with regards to I like his content, which are not, I like his non-political content, because I guess there are some things I can understand and I can relate to. And the questions that he was giving he was asking Fiscal EJ, and also with his arguments later on when they were having people who are against the divorce bill, was actually pretty good. I also, by the way, I also subscribe to Comics Man. I'm a big fan of the Sausawan podcast with Chris Bakula. If Comics Man is alone, I like Comics Man when he does the live, when he does drawings. You know, when we talk about anything, when he talks about stuff. You know, I actually comment there a lot. And also with the Sausawan podcast, if I reach it, when I reached it live. So, but then again, it was actually a nice, healthy discussion. It was better. The discussion actually got better when one of the guys there just already had to leave. It's actually a lot better. Everybody got smarter. But there is one thing that there's one, because that, I mean, it's, why would you even put something biblical and it's supposed to be second? I promise it got smarter after the guy left. Sorry. And but it was a nice, healthy discussion. Also, the views and topics raised by Percy Lapida was also very good. At the same time, as they asked questions, Fiscal EJ was also teaching. Now, he also talked about the annulment, right? There has to be some elements to it for marriage to be annulled. That it can be the marriage was below 8, they're minors. Second is that there was a big bigamy, there was also fraud. There's also the incapacity to consummate the marriage, or they were talking about yung gun. It was really funny on that part. And then also with some articles within the family code, Article 45. And aside from that is mental incapacity. Now, but actually, there was a point raised. There was an example raised by the blogger, wherein he knew he had a friend, and the friend just wanted to annul with the husband, and then they're just saying that, okay, let's just collude, and then they'll annul on the grounds of psychological incapacity. Just don't contest it. But apparently the other side did. Okay, but Fiscal EJ, being Fiscal EJ, would say that that's not allowed. There's no collusion should be allowed, right? But then again, I have to admit, it happens. Personally, I know people who have gone through the annulment process, and just and they used mental incapacity, and then one just did not contest it and just signed it and go. But others did not. Others had to contest it because it's basically telling the court that you're mentally incapable of marriage, right? That's actually hurting. So it's like, to get rid to get away from the marriage, one has to take the fall. But personally, I don't feel that that should be the case. And another thing also that Fiscal EJ was talking about is that the no cost divorce is not allowed. There is no provisions for a no cost divorce. What does that mean? So it's basically like, if I just want to divorce you, then go divorce. They were Fiscal EJ was using the example of Britney Spears, wherein she married the guy in Las Vegas, and then the day after, or a few days after, she filed for divorce. Right? There's no provision on that in the divorce bill that is being passed, which is a good thing, because it does not mean that you can just divorce a person arbitrarily because I just don't like you anymore. It's actually stupid, because why did we even have to marry, right? Another thing also is that, by the way, aside from watching the live stream of Fiscal EJ and also watching Attorney Libayans, I also watched the one of I Am Sean Wayne, but it is actually more of a commentary on Attorney Libayans' commentary. But I also watched the one of Attorney Claire, wherein she was talking about Cheese Escudero's stance on divorce bill, that he's not gonna allow it. But it's basically echoing the same stance as Fiscal EJ, is that she talked about annulment, and with regards to psychological incapacity, that it's pretty broad. You can actually put things like, if it's for if a serial womanizer, gambling. But at the end of the day, it's still hard. How many annulments have we seen that really work a lot? It's either the person had money, or had a lot of time, or a lot of money to really pursue it. And then there's also one thing that Attorney Claire raised is the voidable marriage, which is, I guess, in Filipino is called the pikot, or in maybe that's like a shotgun marriage, that it can be voided. But never, then again, at this point, there's only separation and annulment, which annulment has to still go through the court, and it has to be proven. But then again, it would have to have someone to take the fall, because they did say that there's no collusion on it. So another thing also that Fiscal EJ raised is that in the divorce bill, if the people want to get back together, there's also provision for that. They gave that they can go back together, which is a good thing, because let's say maybe they just needed more time, and then aside from that, with Attorney Claire, there was what they call a cooling off period in the divorce bill. A year? I'm not okay. But there is a cooling off period for you to see if it really need to divorce, right? So I'm really surprised at this. No, I'm not surprised. No, I'm not surprised, because it was mentioned. I'm not sure if it was Nico David who mentioned it, that it's election time, and since they're gonna be gearing up for the midterm elections, they need to pander to the religious vote. Because personally, I think the divorce bill being made by the lower house was actually pretty good, because it incorporates a lot of things with regards to it's a legal separation, because you just separate the person, so they can just be separated and both of them can be miserable. I don't think it works. And there is they're not allowing no cause divorce or no fault divorce. There's also the provision of getting back together, which is actually gives you a chance to get back, right? It gives you a chance to maybe think about it, and if you want to be together, then go. They're allowing it, right? So, and I do believe that, I think maybe Cheese did not read it correctly, or did not read it, but I'm not sure. He's a lawyer, he should know that. But that's what Attorney Claire is suspecting, that he didn't read it. He just wanted to say it, but never. But that's not. I guess it might happen. It could happen. But personally, I think I'm. If this is the version that maybe the Senate might have, I think it should work. Now, it's a good thing also in the live stream that there was a guy who, I forgot the name. I'm sorry. There was a calls himself conservative Christian who is against divorce and said that it leads to degeneracy. Well, Fiscal EJ raised a very good statistic wherein only a small number of people get divorced in countries like Italy, Spain, and in Europe. So divorce is not something that everybody does. Actually, and they would say that house the kids. Well, personally speaking, if you're in an abusive relationship, doesn't it hurt the kid more? Because they will think that what one parent is doing is the normal thing for a relationship. If let's say the kid has a parent who is an abuser, abusing the spouse, be it a guy or a girl, it could register in their mind that's the right thing to do. That's how to discipline your wife or your husband. Isn't that even worse? Rather than letting the child mature and tell them that the reason why we split up is because of things that we cannot reconcile. Because I always say that religion, fundamentalist religious thinking is a hindrance for opening your mind. And I'm not saying this with regards to your morality. It's up to you what you want to be. Because I would personally, I take a different stance with regards to a conservative Christian or a fundamentalist Christian or a conservative Muslim or a fundamentalist. There's a difference between conservatism and being too fundamentalist. Fundamentalist is to follow this and that's it. A conservative talks about his values. Okay, I believe I should not have premarital sex. It is my values, and this is what I follow. But for a fundamentalist would say that is what happens, and I would have to teach everybody the same thing. I have to force it down people. Now, I would say that the one who the guest was conservative because he did not push his feelings, he did not push his ideals to the panel, and I loved how Nico David was trying to pose arguments on that. But I have to agree with the pro-divorce side because degeneracy, you don't learn degeneracy just because there's a divorce bill. You either adopt bad habits or the way you were brought up. It's either you're rebelling on something you were brought up. But having a divorce bill does not breed degeneracy because number one, there's no fault divorce. Also, there are other ways to fix your marriage. And then there's the court, like what it goes to the court. So the court is just like probable cause, right? They have to find the probable cause to have a case. They need to check it first if there's probable cause for the divorce. Now, granted, it's another responsibility for the courts, but then again, they are the court. There is a safeguard. Though I would have to agree that the slippery slope there is irreconcilable differences because it's too broad. Yes, it is too broad, and I believe in most divorce, especially in the United States, that's what they usually use, irreconcilable differences. But then again, there is the court. Now, it's not like I'm giving too much responsibility to the court, but then again, it is part of their job. They've been doing that already. Fiscals have been doing that already. So I think it's high time that we should at least move this forward because forcing people into a relationship which is going to be toxic for both parties will not just be toxic for the parties but can also be toxic to the children. Denying denying the fact that there's a problem in your relationship, or if they're trying to fix a relationship which cannot be fixed. And there is there are instances of that, is also limiting, is also going to hurt not just the two people involved, but also the children and the families as well. It's something that it's something that I would always say, when with regards to my job, I always say that most people would say, Jax, why not just for the non-cash benefits, just put it in my salary? But then again, I would have to always say that, well, it's nice. It's you might not need it, but it's good to have. I would, and that's what I'm gonna say with my support of the divorce bill. You might not really need it, but it's good to have, because who knows? Not everybody's going to have the perfect marriage, and for all the generations, the people who had to endure being married to somebody that they're already detesting or is already hurting them, that already go into to the people's psyche, and it's going to pass on and pass on. Another thing also is that we also have a lot of the people who are talking about this are mainly the religious. Well, first off, your relationship, most of the, especially with priest, I'm sorry, um, let's see you have a relationship first with the person, because having a relationship with God, yes, it could be harder, it could be easier because he's not there, right? He's not physically there. Now you might say it's wrong because he's everywhere. Yes, but is he the one that, have you tried, did God try to slap you when you're in an abusive relationship? Did God try to steal your money, or did God have a gambling problem? Maybe maybe he or she could be, God would be the suffering wife. But of course you won't feel that because you're going to be the abuser. I find that I guess it could help that if you could keep talking about marital problems, having maybe seminars on that, or having like what you call this, marriage encounters or therapy, it could help. But then again, one of the people said, I already forgot who, but that marriage, yes, there is the religious type, the religious marriage where it was sanctified by God, but it's a human contract. One of the commenters said that in the live stream, it's a human human contract, which should be a way also to break that contract. So it's just basically me. Well, I guess it's pretty long now, but nevertheless, it is actually, I guess it's a combination of three people. Attorney Libayan's view with regards to the Constitution having having to include religious thing should not be the case. Fiscal EJ's live stream talking about divorce, the different elements of annulment, legal separation, talking about that there's no that the divorce bill proposed has no the no fault. And also with Attorney Claire, when she was talking about that, basically the same thing with regards to the elements for annulment. And I think it's high time to have it, and she's even willing to give a seminar to the religious to talk about it. All right, so I think that's something that I guess the Philippines as a whole should actually talk about. And yes, personally, it's also good to watch to take all sides. Always look at the other side. Always look at the side. So thank you, attorney. Thank you, Attorney Claire, for your video. Thank you, Fiscal EJ, for your live stream. I actually enjoyed it, even if my questions was not posted, because you can see it being skipped. So thank you. I'm not sure, maybe it's because of the Never mind. But I enjoyed the live stream. Thank you, Fiscal EJ, and thank you, Attorney Libayan, for your view. And also, I special shout out, for I'm Sean Wayne because I got into the topics because I saw your live stream. So again, thank you very much, and I do hope that this gets put. I hope that people tend to remove politics from it, which everybody doubts. I think it's high time that we should have this already, and this already should be tackled by both the Senate and the lower house. So I do hope that it happens. Honestly, I'm not that hopeful, but then again, who knows? It could happen. So thank you very much for the three attorneys, and hope everybody has a nice day.